New this morning, Mississippi has the second highest traffic death rate in the nation.
That's according to new federal data for the first 6 months of this year.
This morning, we have a live interview with Dr. Amir Molan, an assistant professor of civil engineering at Ole Miss, who specializes in highway safety research.
Good morning, Dr. Molan. How significant was the decline in Mississippi's traffic deaths in the first half of 2022 compared to the first half of 2021?
Good morning. Well, based on the new report, we see a 10% decline in the number of the crash fatalities in Mississippi. This is good news. Of course, any crash reduction is good news. However, we should also pay attention that in the first half of 2021, we were involved with COVID-19 pandemic, and COVID-19 pandemic changed our driving behavior, changed our driving patterns. For example, based on recent studies, average speed increased during COVID-19. So higher speed means higher crash severity. In addition to that, a lower rate of seatbelt use was observed during COVID-19, and we had more crashes under the influence of alcohol or drugs. So these should be some possible reasons as well that in the first half of 2021, because of COVID-19, we had more crash fatalities.
Totally understandable. I know we all can remember 2020 and 2021 with the pandemic. But what are some reasons that Mississippi ranks second nationally for the rate of traffic deaths?
Yes, so there are a few reasons. Maybe one of the most important ones would be related to rural high-speed highways, because rural high-speed highways are functionally similar to interstates. So people are driving 70 miles per hour, 80 miles per hour, and unfortunately some people even more than that. However, we have at-grade intersections, something that on interstates, we don't have at-grade intersections. On rural highways, on the other hand, on rural highways, we have those intersections to provide access points for local communities. So assume that some people on the major road are driving 70 miles per hour. They have conflict points with the traffic coming from minor roads with 20 miles per hour, maybe 10 miles per hour. So those intersections are very dangerous. And based on statistics in the US, more than 40% of fatal crashes happens at intersections or near intersections. So that's one of the main reasons that, in my opinion, Mississippi has this rating among all the states, because we have many of these kind of rural highways, and that creates lots of safety concerns for us.
So what do you think, you personally believe, that could be done to lower the traffic death rate in Mississippi?
Yeah, so maybe as one of the best solutions, improving infrastructure. So for example, for the answer that I gave you for the previous question, so improving those intersections using innovative design. So those intersections, those highways were built 50, 60 years ago based on old design policies. That time we had much lower traffic volume. We had lower demand in terms of pedestrians, bicyclists. So everything was different than something that we have right now on our highway system. So for sure, improving infrastructure for all users, for drivers, for pedestrian, bicyclists, wheelchair users, would be one of the most important solutions, one of the best solutions. In addition to that, improving strategies, improving education plans to increase the rate of seatbelt use, to decrease the crashes under influence of drugs, under influence of alcohol, alcoholic drinks, could be also another possible solution for us.
Well, Dr. Molan, that is all the time we have this morning, but I do want to say real quick, I am from the central Mississippi area, and it would be very great if we could improve our infrastructure in the Jackson city, because those potholes
are terrible.
Terrible. But thank you so much for taking the time to join us this morning.
Thank you for having me.